I bought an iPod Touch, and in this video, we're going to unbox it, test it out, explore it, and just see if it's worth having one in 2024. So I actually bought two of them, and they're both from Amazon. They're both renewed. One is acceptable, one was excellent, I believe. Let's just start with the acceptable one, open it up, and see what's inside. We upgraded your order to the latest model. Wait, what does that mean? Did they, wait, what? Hold on, that's actually kind of sick. What happened here? I was supposed to get a 5th gen, but apparently they upgraded me to 7th gen, which is interesting. That's great. I actually wanted a 5th gen, though. Let me open up the other one and see if they actually sent me a 5th gen in this one. All right, and dude, what? Same thing here. We upgraded your order to the latest model. So they're just giving me these free upgrades. Honestly, I didn't even want the upgrade because I wanted to try out the 5th gen. It's kind of like a major throwback. I think the 5th gen came out in like 2012, whereas this one came out in 2019 maybe. But honestly, I might just take a look at this one and not even touch the other one because they both look like they're in fine condition, and I don't really need to open up two if they're both in the same condition. So let's open this one up and take a closer look at it. So it's in this little slip inch. All right, so here it comes out, and dude, that thing is so small. My goodness, what a form factor though. That's actually kind of sick. So I actually had an iPod Touch. I think it was the 1st gen back in like, what was it, like 07 or something? And they still looks pretty similar. Of course, that one was absolutely tiny. Let's just go ahead and start by trying to turn this thing on and see if it still has some battery. All right, here we go, guys. We're on the setup screen here, and definitely a 60 hertz screen. Let's go ahead and just set it up though and see what's going on here. Okay, so this is interesting. You can actually do a quick start where you bring your iPhone or iPad near the iPod Touch to sign in and set up. It says you just need iOS 11 or later, so I have an iPhone 13 Pro, which is obviously later than iOS 11. Let me just bring it close to it and see. Oh yeah, sure enough. Yep, and first of all, look at that size difference there. That's just crazy. You can just, wow, that's actually kind of crazy how it just works with a device from 5 or 6 years ago at this point. But I don't actually want to do that. I want to set it up manually just to get the whole nostalgic experience here. So let's do that. All right, guys, so we're booted up here to the home screen, and at first glance, I was thinking like, this looks kind of old, maybe because of the background. Then I was scrolling around, I was like, no, all these apps look almost exactly the same as my current iPhone 13, and I decided to hop into settings and go to, I basically went to system settings here and went to software update and decided to take a look on what iOS we're on. So we can actually update to iOS 15.8, and if you go to about, we're on 15.7.5 right now. So that's not super recent, but that's within the last couple of years, I think. So while it's great and all that we're on a pretty new iPod Touch that's almost like my iPhone nowadays, I really wanted to get an old iPod Touch, which is why I ordered a 5th gen, which came out in 2012. And here they are sending me a 7th gen, thinking they're doing me a favor by saying, we upgraded your order to the latest model. Great, thanks. That's not what I wanted though. So definitely gonna return these because that's just frankly not what I wanted, but we'll scroll around a little bit, and I'll also open up the other one and we'll take a look at them. And you can see here on the home screen does look a bit different than iOS nowadays, and the notification bar just looks kind of crappier and stuff. Of course, we have the home menu, or the home button, excuse me, instead of swiping up and stuff. And just taking a look at the physical hardware feature of this thing, I honestly have no idea what this little black panel is right here. But you have a camera, you got your flash, and yeah, what is that there? Maybe it's like an IR sensor or something. I don't know, no clue honestly. But of course you have you got your button on top, you got your volume buttons on the side. You actually have an auxiliary jack. Let's go. And then we have a lightning cable. See, I was expecting to get one of these things and have to plug in like the I don't even know what you call the old cable, like the 32 pin or whatever it was, the old fat cable for iPod Touches and stuff. Because I had an iPod Touch when I was 1st gen or whatever, and that's what I was used to. And yeah, basically scrolling around, it's pretty much like a new iPhone, but it doesn't have a SIM slot, so you can still call people over Wi-Fi. You can still use iMessage, FaceTime, all that stuff. It's pretty much an iPhone, but no SIM slot. And by the way, the battery on it, I was trying to check out the battery earlier, but I can't see a whole lot just because it doesn't have the battery health. But you can see it died pretty quickly. Like when I first booted this thing up, I had 30-something%, and I'm already down 14 minutes in, I'm already down to 12%. So not great, not surprising at the same time because this thing's 5 years old at this point. I think it came out in 2019. But let's put this one to the side. I'm gonna go ahead and take out the other package as well and take a closer look at this one just because why not at this point. And again, iPod Touch 7th gen, 32 gigs. And we actually have this little renewed packet right here that tells you what renewed means. Basically, actually, never mind, it doesn't really tell me anything. It just says you're covered by the Amazon renewed guarantee. I guess I'm just covered by the return policy because they sent me the wrong item. But looking at this one, oh, okay, so this one definitely is more of acceptable because we've got a giant, like, what is that there on the back? This thing's like all beat up, and it looks like something was taped there, but that tape stuff is just like not scraping off at all. That's interesting. Almost looks like a Band-Aid. It's also pretty beat up on the corners here. You got like a big scuff there. Got some scuffs down there and there and there and there and there. So somebody definitely dropped this multiple times. And looking at the screen's not too bad. There are a few, let me see if I can get this in the light, but there's a few scratches. Probably can't get it in the light, but there's a few scratches up there. And honestly, the screen and just in general is just dirtier. It's like they just, because it was acceptable, they decided not to wipe it down, which is kind of funny. Like there's you know, some, I call it gamer juice. There's some gamer juice ingrained in the home button right there, which is funny. But let's turn this one on and see if this one works. All right, so this one's booting up. Screen looks fine so far, and actually, got a whole lot more battery on this one, probably at 75% versus the 30% we started with on the other one. And I wanted to take a second to take a look at the difference between the 5th gen and the 7th gen, just a brief overview. And honestly, the interesting thing is, the iPod Touch 5th gen and 7th gen are almost the exact same form factor. They actually might be the exact same form factor. Because if you look at the 5th gen, it says the height is 4.86 inches and the width is 2.31. And if you look at the 7th gen, it says that the height is 4.86, width is 2.31. So I think these are frankly literally the same exact thing. Might even have the same, yeah, they have the same pixels per inch as well. So I honestly think that these two iPod Touches are basically the same, except that the old iPod Touch, you could only go up to like iOS 9, which is really, that's what I wanted. I wanted to see some old apps. I wanted to scroll through some old software, that sort of thing. So that's where I was disappointed here. But otherwise, these actually look almost exactly the same. Except for the old iPod Touch 5th gen had an iPod Touch loop right here, I think. So you could attach a strap to it, which is funny. You can't do that on here. But this iPod Touch actually, looking at the screen, the top of the screen looks like it's yellowing a bit, maybe. That's kind of hard to tell, honestly. Yeah, so this screen definitely does not look as good. You can actually, I think you can see it pretty well on camera. It looks like there's some yellowing just kind of around the edges, especially the corners. I'm gonna go ahead and get this one booted all the way up, turn the brightness all the way up, and then we can compare versus the other one and get a good comparison. I don't know, maybe I'm just tripping because I don't really see the difference now once I got the brightness turned all the way up. So maybe it's just a thing that I saw because I had it turned down. But the two screens do actually look a bit different in terms of how warm they are. Actually, I would say the the one on the right actually looks a bit warmer than the one on the left. Not a big deal. They're close enough, and you can see this one. It's just this is the first one I turned on. The battery's just draining like crazy, and I'm not doing anything. So yeah, there you go, guys. These iPhones are I keep calling them iPhones, but they're iPod Touches, and you can just see how similar they are. But honestly, what I want to equate this to is like, say I went on Amazon and I bought an Xbox 360, but they sent me an Xbox Series X. Like that's fine and dandy and all. I got a brand new console, but I wanted to play my 360 games. I didn't want to play Series X games. Kind of a similar situation here, where I wanted to use the old apps. I didn't want to use the new brand new iOS 15 on a 7th gen iPod Touch. I wanted to use the 2012 5th gen. So disappointed here. I know it's weird. Most people would not be disappointed about getting upgraded, but thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know down below which one to see next. And I think next actually we'll buy like a 1st gen or something iPod Touch and just play around with it. But guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.